Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Let me know if the sound and resolution is good until I do a little bit of a juggling here. Okay. Give me a moment. Be right back. All right, we're back. And so who do we have here? Let me turn this off. It's already off. There we go. So we have, oh my goodness, Colonel is here. Hello, Jack. How are you, dear? Jack says, hello, Meran. And Slobodan is here. Hello, Meran, 21 Belgrade. How are you, mate? Thank you very much. Good to see you all here. Nina is here. Nina Maniozhova. I hope I didn't butcher the name, Nina. Says, hello, Meran, female 16, Slovakia. Thank you very much for that. Let me try one more time. Maniozhova. No, okay, it's the best I can do. Nidhi, Rachel, Alexander. Which one? Make up your mind. Nidhi or... Says, hello, Meran. Hello, Nidhi, dear. And Hater says, male 17 UK. Hi, Meran. Hope your day is going well. I don't know if it is from the ERP, from spending time with my friends, or the gay jokes they make, but I feel better about my HOCD. Yeah, of course, HOCD, as I just came up with a little a video, 13 minutes, which was made in one of these live talks, and explains what HOCD is very briefly. But you all know what HOCD is. It's just a disorder in the signaling system of the brain that brings attention to all these intrusive thoughts, and the brain is trying to protect you with all these thoughts, and it goes haywire, especially when the signaling system is malfunctioning, such as the caudate nucleus is supposed to shut down intrusive thoughts when they happen. Well, then you get to have these thoughts lingering and running off with it to all different tangents. All you have to recognize is that there is a separation between brain, thoughts, and you. Brain is not you. You are not the brain. Brain was added to a you that was already there for 1,000,000 years before, 40,000 years ago, when we got this kind of a brain with prefrontal cortex and ability to speak and ability to think. And since the ability to think was given to this, as a feature to this brain, then the problems of all kinds of intrusive thoughts and so on started, because that's the nature of the brain. Makes thoughts. Doesn't know what it makes, but just makes thought, because it's possible to make thoughts of all kinds. So that's the end of it. The rest of it, you got to educate yourself to understand that HOCD is not a change in your sexuality or orientation or gender, is a malfunction of the brain. That's all. So you deal with it, you understand it. Through education, you'll be able to rewire yourself and your brain, and then through neuroplasticity, behaving the way we talked about it, and when these intrusive thoughts show up, you'll be able to put its poison aside and clearly treat it as if some crazy person is saying some shit in the street, which you don't pay attention and you ignore and you move on. And that's how you got to do. And through that, your brain gets used to being trained properly the way you have decided and you would like it to behave as. So, and Nina says, I'm dealing with HOCD 2 years. Okay, some days I feel 100% straight, and then I have days when I feel like I'm totally gay in denial, and it feels like I've always been gay. I feel horrible. Yeah, well, it is the feeling that you get when the brain affects the body. Body reacts to the thought, and that is not your gender. That is how body is trained to react to thoughts. You think of some sour grape, you think of some lemon in your mouth right now that is being squeezed drop by drop, and you're just tasting it. All your taste buds start salivating. But there is no lemon and there is no sour grape. Why do you feel that way, and why this secretion takes place? Because thought has been produced, and that thought affects the body. But that doesn't mean you're having an actual lemon. It's a thought which is affecting the body, and body reacts to it. That's how the wiring is. So when a thought shows up and the brain doesn't know the difference, brain doesn't have a gender. Brain makes thoughts just because thought is possible to be made. All such informations that is floating around the world, possibilities of different lifestyles, different political beliefs, different products available, different whatever that is out there, that information somehow seeps through our consciousness, and the brain picks up all that information, makes thoughts with it. Doesn't know what it's making, but it makes thoughts with it. And if it's contrary to what you're interested and your gender is, then it tries to protect you, because that its program is to protect you. Then it goes overboard and does all kind of crazy things, especially when there's an OCD. So if you understand all these things, then you wouldn't think that, oh, some days I feel I'm gay, some days. No, your gender is what it's always been. It's the brain that is interfering with its production of thoughts, that you got to understand through education what it is, and then you'll say, okay, that's it. That's what it is. And then you, as I mentioned, you will do what's necessary, such as ignoring it and focusing on what it is that you should be focusing or you want to be focusing in, and then it will eventually becomes less and less. And if it ever shows up, you know what it is. So understand there is a separation between brain and you. So these are brain's thoughts, not your thoughts. There's a difference. Brain is an apparatus that makes thoughts. So many of these thoughts could be intrusive, and every human being on earth has intrusive thoughts of different kinds. Pedophilia, harm OCD, religious OCD, homosexual OCD or sexual orientation OCD, HOCD, all kinds of intrusive thoughts in people's brains. But when there is no OCD involved and caudate nucleus functions properly, it shuts down the intrusive thoughts when it shows up, and you realize, oh, that's a nasty thought, and then boom, it shuts down because it's programmed to shut down and go on. But when it's malfunctioning, it doesn't shut down. It doesn't shut down, so the intrusive thought is hanging around. When it's hanging around, then you think, oh, it must mean something. No, it's a malfunction. That's why it's hanging around. So educate yourself, and you'll be able to handle this. One more things that we got to handle in life when some malfunctions or disorders takes place, and this one is a mental disorder, and we all have it. Every single human brain has it. It's just a matter of severity of it and how it's being automatically handled or manually. You got to handle it through education. That can be done. And Slobodan says, I'm getting better. Good. Excellent. And Hater says, I feel like I'm doing way better even if I still get mental images and false attraction. Look, the brain that we have is only 40,000 years old. But we ourselves, before this brain, we're over a million years old. The brain is still in the infancy and trying to be developed, so it has malfunctions. So it messes up. It's all neurons and electrical systems, and statics and all kinds of, lack of good, proper connections. It can happen in any electrical system, and it happens to us as well. And it interferes with all kinds of normality, what's normal to each one of us. All right. Hater says most thoughts are gone and I'm happy about it. Yeah, you should be happy regardless, because it's not about if the thought is there, oh, I'm sad, and if thought is not there, oh, I'm happy. Well, yeah, of course, it's convenient and it's fantastically, uh, what is it, preferred when you don't have these thoughts, naturally. But when you do, it doesn't mean anything other than the fact that we have bad thoughts. That's all. Intrusive thoughts. That's it. It has no other meaning to it, but it makes us feel like it does, because brain is very powerful and can affect the body, and the body can react to some kind of an intrusive thought that the brain has conjured up, and then that reaction creates a question to you. Oh, why did I react? Well, listen, you react to anything that has a sexual nature. Anything that sexually is relevant. It could be, I don't know, back of the horse. It could be a shiny doorknob. It could be because, anything shiny seems, kind of has a connotation maybe to luxury, or then that has a connotation with the sex or dating, and all of that, the brain does it in nanoseconds. Or you could see a beautiful car. You see a Bugatti. The first thing comes to your mind is, if I have a date in that Bugatti, how would I look? And suddenly it's sexual relevance. Or you could see a same genders wearing a tank top, the muscles showing, and the muscle quickly has a connotation, association with sex, because you have muscle, and when two people want to have sex, you show you use your naked body, and so anything naked could have a sexual connotation and association to sex, but the sex concept, not the sex with that same gender. The concept is what you react to, because it takes you to the actual sexual relevancy of concept. Anything could have a sexual relevance, and if it does, then you could react to it. That reaction doesn't mean that you have any inclination toward that same gender. It just means you're having association, your brain is making association with the concept of sex. So, and then your body reacts, because the body doesn't, and it's all by images and suggestions and touch and all that, So, if same gender touches you and you feel, it's not because you are interested in that same gender, it's because by touch, you can get aroused. You can make yourself aroused when you touch yourself. Does that mean that you want to fuck yourself? No. It just means that's how the body reacts when there is some, a kind of a touch. I don't care if you could be, touching some soft material and you could be aroused, because anything that has a sexual relevant or connotation or association can give you a bodily response, but that has no interpretation to it, and you shouldn't try either. So, okay, let's go. Let's go to Abhishek. Abhishek says, hello there. Guys, don't forget the protocol. Gender, where you tuning in from? Please, even though I know you guys, most of you guys. So, we have Hater says, also, I do not know if this is possible, but I feel like I got false attraction a year ago and did not notice it. What the fuck is this that you guys hung up false attraction? I'm telling you, you could have a attraction to a horseless ass, but that doesn't mean you're a homosexual. You can have I don't know, you could see a beautiful restaurant, romantic table set, and you suddenly could have a reaction or an arousal. Doesn't mean you want to fuck the table. It just means that the association and the romance and all these suggestions could take the brain into focus on the concept of sex, and then the body reacts to that. And, there's so many other, information that the body and the brain can reach according to all experiences and scenes and movies and so whatnot, that it could bring about a romantic scenario into the brain without you even noticing, and the body reacts to it. Body reacts to such things much faster than you notice what the brain is conjuring up. So Nina says, I'm dealing with HOCD 2 years. Oh, we read that one. Nina says, some people say that if you have HOCD, you're not gay. It's just your fear. But then some people say that you can have HOCD and be gay, or you can realize you're in there. No, it's all bullshit. If you're gay, you will not have gay HOCD. You'll have heterosexual HOCD. HOCD is always opposite of what you are. That's the suggestion and images and so on. That's why it's intrusive thought. If thought comes to my head according to my gender, that I, image of a beautiful woman and I, holding hands with her, that's not HOCD, that's me. I have no objection to it, right? So stuff that you object to, it's that because it's opposite of what your inclination is, and that's what spikes you, which is your protective system. So if you didn't know anything about your own gender and you grew up in a island with nobody else around, to know what your gender is if you get intrusive thoughts. Those intrusive thoughts, whatever they are, you're opposite of that. Your gender is opposite of that. So you get homosexual intrusive thoughts, you're heterosexual. Otherwise, if you're heterosexual, you won't get a heterosexual intrusive thoughts because you'll enjoy those thoughts. So it's very simple. And don't make it complicated, and don't listen to people. Mostly don't know anything about this. And I have a video on Are You in Denial? Watch it and you'll see how the brain is behaving and the logic of what you should pay attention to. Hater says, because of watching animation of my brain is trying to tell me I was attracted to character. Yeah, so what? You watch an animation, you were attracted to character. You can be attracted to, as I said, a nice table setting or a horse's ass or some soft pillow. That doesn't mean that you're pillowsexual or horsesexual or tablesexual. It means nothing. Do not try to interpret any of these shit. Let them be, just like you don't necessarily go after interpretation of what you hear, what other people uttering while you're going about your business in town. You hear things. These are other entities, other people. It's irrelevant to you. And it's the same way, pretty much, when your own brain conjures up things. It's irrelevant to you. It's brain's thoughts. Just like those people uttering whatever they're uttering, it's their thoughts, not yours. So you ignore and you go on, but you hear it. And you could be affected with whatever is being said, the images or suggestions, whatever it could be. You would have a certain kind of a, recognition of what they're saying. It's about a product, it's about, sexuality, it's about a technology, whatever it is. But its source, its origination is outside of you. It's not you. It's separate from you. So that's why you hear and you go. You got to understand that the brain is also separate from you. So it's conjuring up and its thoughts, it belongs to itself, not you. It's irrelevant to you what the brain does. It's a separate system. It's a separate, pretty much, entity. It's an apparatus mounted on you doing its job, which is making thoughts. But you're not responsible for the thought that it makes. It's a system. It's like if you have a diarrhea, you didn't want to have a diarrhea. It's mounted on you. It's part of your system to advance you and have a certain function, but you didn't say to it, okay, have a diarrhea because I prefer to have it there. No, it happens, you recognize it and say, okay, there's something not normal for me, so I got to see what I can do to deal with it. That's it. But you're not going to say, oh, because it's happening from me, it must be me. No, it happens to be mounted on you, and they each have a function, and sometimes they malfunction. Brain does the same. So understand the separation, then you will treat it like other people in the streets are uttering. So images and thoughts and suggestions show up, pop up in your head. You got to treat it just the same. Something not me is conjuring up these things, so it's irrelevant to me. I could be affected by it because it's mounted on my head and my body reacts to the brain and images and so on, but I recognize that it's not me. It's interfering with what is me. And then you protect that. With that value, with that understanding, you go forward. You ignore it. Jack says, I always love to check in and say hello. Hello. Hello, Colonel. Good to see you. Or read you. Slobodan, I have a video on groinal response. You know that. You must have watched it. So don't care about it. Doesn't matter. You have groinal response. You can have a groinal response to it. I don't know, whatever. As I mentioned, it's anything has a sexual relevance, you could react to it. But that doesn't mean that your gender is. It's the body reacting to the concept of sex through all these, connections that the brain and the body have. So because we've never been experiencing it all through our life, it's something new, and then when something new, suddenly you forget all your history, who you are, what you're interested in. You're only focusing on, some intrusion, because you want everything. If something is out of the ordinary, that means a major change has happened. No change has happened. These are reactions that the human brain causes and brings about, and the body reacts to it. So that's it. No explanation needed. No interpretation needed. No change or modification is happening. It's just a malfunction that the intrusive thoughts are not shutting down. And it's appearing, and it's annoying. That's all you got to know. The rest of it, you go on about your business until the brain finds that you're not interested and it starts reducing it, because there's no buyer of this story. The less you pay attention to it, the less it will be producing, because it feels that when you're not interested in it, there's no interaction there. Nobody plays with that idea and entertains that, and the brain feels, well, I've been neglected. Nobody's actually interested in interacting with me on this sort of topics or images. And then it gets programmed that, okay, these are not welcomed here. So there'll be less of it produced, and eventually, through your behavior toward these sort of thoughts, the brain learns to rewire itself and show less of these intrusive thoughts, to the point that they have no real, they're not an anomaly, they're not something that freaks you out because you have recognized them what they are. It's like if you're at home and doing your things and oblivious and having your life, and then there's an intruder, there is a thief, a robber appears in the yard of your home or inside one of the parts of the home. You freak. You freak, and you go trying to do all kinds of things, throw these things around, call here, what to do, run around. You panic, you freak, because this is so out of ordinary for the homeostasis of your style of living and your security of your home. It's out of the ordinary. And you get highly alarmed, yeah? And you react so violently about it and so shocked, yeah? But if you knew, like the police calls you or says, listen, sir, be calm, there's an intruder about to enter your home, there's a thief and robber, and we're on to it. Then your behavior is not shocked and surprised. You expect the intrusion, and you know the intrusion is not part of the house, it'll be taken care of, it's not welcomed. You recognize that. That recognition stops you from freaking out or panicking because you've been told that there is a robber, intrusion that is about to enter your home. So you expect it. But when you didn't expect it, you freak out and you don't know what to do. You see a danger because we are all programmed to protect ourselves. And the amygdala runs with the anxiety and tries to protect you. And it doesn't consult with anything. It just bypasses everything and just reacts to the danger. But when you're aware that these things could happen, a robber could be at such a time, we expect some robber hitting that neighborhood. It could be also coming to your yard. So be aware. So you'll be aware and you won't freak and panic when you see the actual thief actually entered your premises. This is what you're trying to do with this, to get it to be known by you that such a thing is called this, and it's called intrusive thoughts. And it's brain's thought, it's not yours. It's separated from yours. You've got no responsibility to it. So you're wise to it. And that education, that awareness that this is called intrusive thought, it's not mine, it's brain's thought, it's not me, it's HOCD, then you're clear. You call it for what it is. There's a thief. You recognize it. No longer there's a freaking out about it. Then you try to do the right thing. You call the authorities, and in this case, you don't pay attention to it. You ignore it because you know what it is, and you go about your business. And then this becomes nothing shocking to freak you out because you're in control, because you're aware of this intrusion. And you do the right thing, which is ignoring it and going on about your business. Until the thief knows, hey, they expect me here, they know about me, so I won't show up there. And you'll hardly see it. And if you do see it, you know what it is. You won't freak out. All right. Abhishek says, hey Mehran, can you have a Facebook group support? Yeah, sure. I don't know how to do it. I have a Facebook page called Mind That Seeks Truth. I have two of them. One is author, one is books. So you guys can go to my Facebook page, Mind That Seeks Truth, and we can start a group there. Not a problem. But you know, this is that support group, isn't it? Anything that could promote this channel, you know, do it. Just promote the channel. Guys, look, I've asked you so many times. You guys, I don't think you guys, any of you do much about promoting the channel, but we need it. Look, once a week I do this, and apparently so many people enjoy the videos and it's helpful to them. But we have 13 people here. Do you think that's really kind of justifies more time to be allocated to my activities as much as I love to help? So we need you guys to really seriously promote this channel for the relationship, for breakup, for OCD, HOCD, and all these things that is helpful to people. Then by all means, I'll be more than happy to dedicate more life and more time to it. More life and more time to it. We have consultation through Skype that you can go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, and make an appointment and talk to me on Skype about your issues, one-on-one on Skype. Make a 1 hour appointment. I'll add another hour at the first session. So we'll have 2 hours at that one session, and that will be a great opportunity to explore what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. So these things, if people know, then they will be able to use it. And here is a link for introduction of this live chat. So you can promote it on your social media, so people know that we are here and support is here, and they can come to this live stream and they can see the videos and subscribe, and then we grow. Otherwise, we'll wither and die. And I'm saying that so many times. Don't be surprised if you just don't show up anymore, because there has to be some justification to it, and then channel could, produce finances, get more money, and then we'll have budget to do things. Otherwise, it's just a, very, low key thing. That's not going to encourage me to spend more time, because this is something important to me and I want to be fully focused on it rather than just dabbling into it, because it's way beyond dab. So let's go on to Luna is here. Says Salam Rajan. Happy to be joining you from London. Thank you very much for being here, Luna dear. Kafik al-Yom, she says, Shukran Tamam, Luna dear. Female, 36 UK, and thank you for that. And happy Nowruz, in case any of you guys celebrate Nowruz. It's a old, ancient, 5,000 years old, at least 4,000 years old Persian celebration of the New Year, equinox, and revolution of Earth around the sun. And every year it's a different time, exact time, scientifically calculated. And so it usually happens on 20th, 21st of March. So we're still in the celebration mode of that time, although there's not celebration going on. But that's until the 13th day of the new year, which on the 13th day we have an April Fool's Day. That's the same as the April Fool's Day. I pretty much think it probably came from there. And it happens to be on the same pretty much day, 13th day after 20th of March. It's just about 1st of April, same tradition kind of thing. Anyhow, Happy Nowruz, whoever celebrates it, and if you don't, still Happy Nowruz. No means new, Ruz means day, so Nowruz means new day, and that's pretty much what it is. It's only pretty old. All right, let's see. We have Nidhi says, I'm dealing with HOCD and I can't stop unconsciously muttering self-reassurance. You don't need to. Just understand. Because you're thinking the brain is you and you're trying to avoid it, stop it. The brain is not you. So whatever it does, irrelevant to you. It's not your quality. And it has its own, which it's an elaborate discussion on its own. Either watch the videos, or you guys can always go on my site, make an appointment, and we'll discuss it, as long as we have time for it in detail. It says, it really irritates me to hear the same thing again and again, then it later gives me anxiety if I like my thoughts. No, your thoughts is telling you to like your thoughts. It's all thoughts. You have to understand. When there's a malfunction, that malfunction is not limited to one kind of a suggestion. It also is involved in judging that suggestion, introducing and suggesting how you feel about that suggestion. They're all part of the malfunction brain, malfunctioning of the signaling system in the brain. So they're all thoughts that are laced with malfunctioning behavior of the brain. It's not like, oh, this thought is intrusive thought, but what I'm thinking about the thought is my thought. Actually, that is also affected by the malfunctioning behavior of the brain, that judging thought about that image, suggestion, or thought that it was just produced as an intrusive thought. So you can't. It's like you have a gauge, an instrument that is malfunctioning, and with that malfunctioning instrument, you want to fix what's malfunctioning. That is still malfunctioning. It's not going to show. It's not going to do its job right. Like you have a certain kind of a thing that shows there's a malfunction in your engine, and there's no malfunction in the engine. Like the engine works well, but the gauge, the gadget, shows it's malfunctioning. Then you want to fix that, what the gadget shows is malfunctioning, with the gadget that it's actually malfunctioning. The gadget is malfunctioning, shows the engine malfunctioning, and you want to fix the engine that is not malfunctioning with the gadget that is malfunctioning, but you believe the malfunction to be not malfunctioning. Did you get it? Did I confuse you? I will try again. All right, I have that explained in detail in one of the videos, and perhaps you want to check the videos. And I try to be short on the live streams because otherwise, I've tried it. Sometimes I go for half an hour discussing something that is already in the videos. But I care about you guys. When you guys ask a question, I want to alleviate. I want to respond to you right away, right there. Get your pain away and give you some guidelines. But it kind of maybe is too long of a discussion for every question. So I try to shorten it and refer you to some of the videos that is out there. Beetlejuice says, I've been dealing with HOCD. I'm losing my mind. Don't lose your mind. Just understand that it's not you. It's a malfunction in the signaling system. That's all. You all have been programmed to think from childhood that your brain is the intellect. That's why whatever is conjured up from the brain, you think it's coming from a wise source. It doesn't. Brain cannot reach your intellect. In the experiments that Dr. Roger Speary, Dr. Wilder Penfield from Montreal, Dr. Benjamin Libet, and Dr. Owens have done in neurosurgery and in the neuroscience, through neurosurgery, they have proven and shown by stimulating parts of the brain, they can maybe make your arm move or maybe make some kind of a sound or speech manipulation. But they could never manipulate any part of the brain to reach your consciousness, compassion, or find the centers for doing math, or stimulate some political ideas, or reach your intellect in form of intellectual components, intellectual characteristics of you. The brain could never reach the intellect. And they have shown it through their experiments that they've done, which I've explained in the video. Are you or the brain is the you? Are you or the brain is the you? If you watch that video, elaborately I've explained how they have proved that you are beyond the brain and brain cannot reach you. There are aspects of it that the brain cannot reach. They can stimulate some parts of it and get some kind of a reaction, but they can never reach your intellect. They can never cause you decide to do math by stimulating part of your brain, or compassion, or political opinion, or anything to do with your inclination. There is no, it cannot be localized, anything that has to do with your intellect. So brain is not intellect. Brain is just a machine that does what it does. And if you understand that, then you won't be bamboozled by thinking that what brain conjures up is me. It's telling me, it's more wise, it's wiser and more knowledgeable about me than me, I am. The brain is more knowledgeable about me than me myself. That's not true. The brain wasn't even there when you were living for 1,000,000 years. Anyhow, so let's go on to Chester. Says, male 27, Hawaii, aloha Meron. Aloha Chester, dear, how are you? Good to see you here. How is my hometown doing? Of course, you're in Oahu, right? I've adopted Maui, and I hope Maui adopted me too. But who knows when I'll see them again with all these stuff that is going on, which nobody can talk about it. If you talk about it, maybe your video will be taken down. Who knows what's going on? And so says, glad I could make it today. I'm glad you could make it too. Says, how are you doing? My life counselor and mentor. Haha, good. Glad to hear that. My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm here. I'm having my tea and dealing with things. Trying to promote this channel that now we're down to 9 people. Gee, sometimes I feel if it's you know, I don't know what to say. We need help. We need exposure. Beetlejuice says, I've been straight my whole life. I love women. Why am I getting these thoughts? Beetlejuice, go on my channel, which you are, and look up in the 2 playlists, Intrusive, Transient, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts, and then Intrusive, OCD, HOCD short videos. These 2 playlists will give you loads of information. On top of it, in the description section of each video, in the description part of the whole, every video of these playlists, you have links of world-known scientists and psychologists, clinical psychologists, psychotherapists, such as Dr. Schwartz. He wrote the book on brain lock. Dr. Philipson, brilliant psychotherapist, psychologist. Dr. Jan Weiner, another brilliant psychologist. And they all, and many therapists on that list that you can watch their links and educate yourself about HOCD. And it's not going to be something to be shocked or afraid about it. You will be getting to know enough information, so you'll see what the enemy looks like, and then you're not surprised by it, and you know what to do. So Alexander Orid says, hello Meran, I hope you're well. Thank you, Alexander, appreciate it. And STE says, hi Meran, 30 male, Chester, UK. I turned in just as you said. Does that mean you want to fuck yourself? No, instantly made me chuckle. Yeah, good. All right. It's true. I mean, we don't really even think about it. So, okay, if you touch yourself and, you know, and then you get a reaction, a bodily and arousal reaction and so on. And then you have no question about that. You understand that, you know, it's the touch, because you have no sexual interest in yourself as a relationship. So it's a touch that causes that. But then you freak out when another sexually relevant connotation or association in the brain with things or objects or whatnot, or animals or other human beings that all have sexual relevance, when it, or a touch, you know, of even the same gender could, you know, give you a little bit of it, because the brain doesn't understand who's touching. It just understands that there is some touch with the sexual relevance. It associates that with that, and then there's a reaction in the body, and then suddenly you question that, but you don't question yourself. It's just clearly, of all things, you're not interested to fuck yourself, but you get the you know, the arousal that, you know, you're going for, but you have no question about that. But if something else in the world gives a reaction that is of arousal kind, then you suddenly want to interpret it. There's no interpretation. Haven't you noticed that sometimes for no reason, there's no girl in your mind, there's whatever your gender is, you have no sexual focus at that moment. You could be, I don't know, watching an ocean, or you could be driving, and you know, you get excited sexually. What does that mean? Are you supposed to interpret that? You have no question about these things, but you have a question when the intrusive thought attaches to any kind of a natural and normal reaction that the body could have at a given time. That's the negative thought at work. That's the negative thought, and OCD and perfectionists and all that, and assurances and all that is at work. Otherwise, there's no change in you or modification to your gender or your interests or inclination whatsoever. It's a thought that is suggesting that, not that you actually are. It's a malfunction of the thought. Remember, thoughts are the roots of all problems. Before we were able to think or speak 40,000 years ago, there was no HOCD or OCD or anything like that, because there was no ability to think for the thought to go rogue or conjure up to protect you and create all kinds of fears and anxieties. And there was no such thing. It was all instinctive. Everything was hardwired, as we talked about it. You run, you eat, you have sex, you hunt, you sleep, or whatever. Your gender is clearly clear to you, no interference, no confusion, no extraordinary interruption to it, because there are no thoughts. So all of that started when brain was developed in a form that it could have the ability to think and speak. And all these words meant something, and the connotation and associations to a word that had a meaning, and that created a conclusion, and then you go after that conclusion. Why is that conclusion? There's no conclusion. It's a word, it's a meaning of a word, and that word means nothing. But the brain wants you to pay attention to it and think of it as it could have any kind of a suggestion or connotation or meaning, and then you go data hunting and all of it. Just leave it alone. Focus on what you like. You live by your vetoes and choices, not by thoughts or suggestions. Remember, the power is in your hand. You, not the brain. And whatever brain conjures up, you have the veto power and choices. That's what we roll. That's how we live, with vetoes and choices. Not but suggestions and thoughts, whether it's from other people outside or whether it's from the brain that is mounted on your head. Still, you go with you, your vetoes and your choices, your preferences and your decisions, based on your values, your principles, what you believe, what your morals are, what your values are, what your faith is, whatever it is that makes you be who you are. That's what your guideline is. And you protect that. You protect that as a wise advocate, as your gatekeeper, as your super consciousness. And those are your values, sacred. You protect that. That's why vetoes and choices will protect your values. That's how you roll in life, not by thoughts, suggestion, or images. That's a malfunction of the brain. So that's not you. You have to understand that, and then you don't give a shit what shows up. Who cares? People say other things, have so many different lifestyles, so many different things they say or they do. That's irrelevant to you. They're there. The same thing. Brain is also irrelevant to you. It just happens to be mounted here. That's all. Otherwise, it's the same as other people. It's outside entity. All right. Let's see. Yes, Chester, that's right. Alexander says, I want to thank you for your explanation days ago. It was helpful for me. I feel better. For a long time, I feared by my thoughts. They looks like real to me, for me, but again, I see myself in some places that I was in danger years ago. Yeah, years ago doesn't exist. It's just echoes, just memories. Memories dead, doesn't exist. Memory is a recording of something that might have happened, like you went to a restaurant, you had food, and you have a memory of that. That at one point that happened. But even that doesn't exist, can not ever bother you, because it's dead. It doesn't exist. That's a memory. It's the past. It doesn't exist. You don't have to be concerned about it. There's nothing to do about it. It's dead. That's memory. Let alone thoughts. That is not even memory. It never was of anything to have a memory of it. It's just a suggestion, has no existence whatsoever. At least memory is something that once had an existence and you're recalling it, even though it's dead now and it's non-existence. But thought has not, doesn't even have that. It's just like a, I don't know, some kind of a nothing, a suggestion, idea that has no existence whatsoever, not even as much as a recorded memory that itself is dead. So what is it that you guys are afraid of? Let any thoughts come and go. Ignore it. Don't pay attention to it. Do your thing, because it's got no existence. It's a thought, for heaven's sake. And you're the only one that can give life to any thought or let it die where it pops up. If you don't allow it for the thought to turn into any action or actuality, what can it do to you? It's a thought. It's like scaring you. It's like somebody keeps saying boom and you're scared. But once after a while you recognize that this is just what it is. It's a sound of boom. There's nothing there. Then you start relaxing that, hey, okay, boom, all right, fine. That's it. It's a protection system that you have that makes you jump. Otherwise, there is no real, danger. But you're programmed to protect yourself. So you overreact. You react to anything. It suggests, raw. Even though it's not real, but it suggests, raw. That means you're trying to protect yourself, which is, more of a reason that you are who you've always been. Relax. All right. Petite Man says, big greetings. Hello, Petite Man. Good to see you. And Slobodan says, every time I saw a girl or want to imagine myself with her, the images of male popped up in my brain or their voices, and I get aroused. Then I do not know on which one I get aroused. You're getting aroused to nothing, just the concept of the whole sexual relevancy. That's all. So don't try to interpret it at all. Don't look for it. There's no answers to be had, because all of them are just bogus thoughts. But you're trying to protect and defend yourself from a shadow, from something that doesn't exist. That means you will always be trying to protect yourself, and in that mode of anxiety, instead of recognizing that what you're afraid of doesn't exist. It's just an idea. So if you recognize that it's a hoax, then you let the idea come and go and you don't react to it. Knowing that, okay, you see another guy is good looking and you kind of, I don't know, cringe or whatever you feel like. You gotta understand the psyche always looks at other males as a threat to you believing that all women are yours and your chances to get women. So you see someone better looking or bigger muscle, or someone's got some naked part of the shoulder, whatever is showing, and you feel like, because the intrusive thought gets into the act when you're already concerned about there's a threat, and the threat is that he's threatening my perfectionism, my chances with the girl. It's an enemy, it's a nemesis. So you heighten up, and the form of the fight and flight, that is the mentality you have. Then the whole concept of it associates with the concept of sexual relevancy, and then you think this your cringing, this your feeling of anxiety is because of the sexual orientation. No, it's because you think of that person or any same gender as a threat to your chances, as a nemesis, as a threat to the perfection, the perfect situation that you want to have in life, what you want to get. So you go on the attack. you go on the anxiety level. Anyhow, maybe I'll make a video on that to be a little bit more flowing on what I want to express. Maybe I am already. Okay, something I wanted to say, I forgot. It's, maybe I remember. Nina says, what bothers me is that I've never dated anyone, but I like some boys in the past. I'm kind of scared of relationships, even I'd like to have one in future. But now it feels like I'm not attracted to guys at all. It feels like it because you're trying to recognize it and pinpoint it and push on it. And when you're so focused on it, you miss all the little ingredients that is needed for that reaction that you're looking for. And when you get too close to the jungle, then you have a hard time seeing all the trees, so to speak. You got to back up a little bit and just relax about it. Don't look for it and let your eyes get kind of relaxed about being so focused, so it can actually focus on something properly. What I'm trying to say is that when you try too hard on something, you bring in too much attention to it, and the body gets out of its automatic reaction and is feeling that it's expected certain reaction. It's like when someone wants to pee, and he can't pee because everybody's looking at him or her. Says, come on, give me privacy. And then the system starts working because it's private. So in other words, you are intruding in your own privacy by your own focus on expectation for a certain reaction. So you need to leave that alone. Stop looking at yourself so much. Stop looking for a reaction that you are expecting to bring reassurance. Don't worry about reassurance. Everything is intact. Everything is there. But again, like anybody who has used at any age urinal or somewhere in camping you wanted to pee and some other people are around, you can't pee, because it's not private. So create that privacy by not paying attention what your body is doing and trying to prove something or bring reassurance to yourself. Then this whole thing becomes, according to, what reaction you expect. So in other words, leave it alone, it will do its job. So you'll like guys when you don't try to prove to yourself that, oh, I like guys, I like, because no, I don't like girls. Well, you're a girl and that is what frightens you, but just leave it alone and you'll see that your attraction to guys will come back. It's always been there. It's never been there. Like Austin Power in was looking for his mojo and Fat Bastard took the mojo out. And all throughout the movie, he was looking for his mojo. At the end of the movie, you realize the mojo was always there. Never went anywhere. It's just in the mind. Right? Same thing. That's a very scientific way of explaining HOCD. All right. Okay, where are we now? And Nina says, I don't like to talk about boys with my mom or friends. I feel kind of uncomfortable and I'm not that type of girl who has 100 crushes on boys. Well, maybe you should start one. Then I'm thinking I'm gay because of that. No, no, no. First of all, Nina, remind me of your where you're tuning in from, your age and gender. I don't know. Did you say that before? Have I missed it? Let's see if I can find it. Ah, 16. Well, in Slovenia. I think you just gotta not push it and understand what it is and let the time pass rather than trying to prove something, bring assurance to yourself. And you don't have to talk to your mom or friends about any boy or anything. Just live your life, do the stuff you love to do, and don't be focused on it so much, and then you'll see the balance will be created. So where was I? JP says, hi, Miran. Hello, JP. JP, oh, female, 33, Chicago. Oh, thank you for that. And JP says, first, let's see, Yusuf says, Yusuf UK 28. And no questions, just watching. Salam Chituri, Happy Nowruz. Thank you, Yusuf Jan. Thank you very much. Happy Nowruz to you too. And thank you for stopping by and saying hello. Don't forget, anyone who's here and enjoys the program or the videos, please help us to grow. Share the videos you like on your social media, or share the link that I put here, which introduces the live stream that we have every week on Saturdays at 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. Vancouver time. Promote it. Talk about it on your chat lines, and promote this channel. Otherwise, look, it's been 6-7 years. This is where we are. We should have a lot more than 22,000 subscribers, and especially with the content that we have, and you know it. So do something, guys. JP says, I'm female, 33, Chicago. Says, how do I stop having anger against my pathological liar ex-boyfriend? A good question. After I broke up with him, I keep thinking all the lies he told me and get upset how I feel for those stupid lies. Like, how can you lie to me out of all people? I never lied to you. Well, you're expecting him to operate on the same level of integrity, morals as you do. Just because you offer someone with the quality that is only special to you, that doesn't mean that that person is also capable to treat you and offer you with the same standards that you are offering. And when that happens, you're not supposed to stick around. If it's not resolved, you're not supposed to hang around and hope that they will change. Maybe for a while you help it out. But if you see it's not, and you're not getting the good deal here as far as reciprocation of same honesty, same moral values, and so on, then pack up and go. When you hang around, it gives them a certain kind of a signal that, hey, it's acceptable to her. You're being nice, kind, doing what you think you're responsible for to bring into the relationship, helping it to grow, but the guy is not. Or it could be vice versa. The guy is doing everything he can, provides, and is fair and kind and attentive, and you know, attending to his duties for that relationship and life in general, and the girl is just, you know, not putting the same efforts. So either way, if it continues, they get kind of settled in that assumption that everything is acceptable to both sides. You think that, well, he's going to change because sometimes he says some good stuff, that he's going to treat you fairly, kindly, respectfully, and he thinks that you're okay with all the, you know, unfairness that he's offering. So you're waiting for him to do the right thing. Why would you think the person who's actually doing the wrong thing and been involved in doing the wrong thing will now going to be doing the right thing because it's not the right thing that he's doing? Well, if he knew better or if he wanted to, he would not do the wrong thing to begin with. But you're leaving into his hand in order to correct what it is that he has selected to do, because you feel that's the right thing. Yeah, if you're probably right, but that's no guarantee that he's going to comply. Maybe he's just, as you said, psychotic, psychopath. And now that you know this, why do you hang around? Why do you think it's a privilege or accomplishment to fix a psychopath? Life is short. You don't have that kind of time. And if he's lying, you already know he's a psychopath. Then you're asking me, why would he be lying? Because he's a psychopath. In the previous sentence, you have answered your question. You're thinking that even though he's a psychopath should not behave as a psychopath because then that's not good. Well, he's a psychopath. You know? But you are expecting him to fix himself before you actually take the hint and know that this is not your standards. You got to protect your quality of what you're looking for. Move on. Now you say, okay, it's X and he's already gone, Mehran. I want to, you know, not be bothered by the lies that you've made. Well, who has made the lies? He has, right? So why are you taking responsibility for it? Why is it a reflection on you? It's on him. And you don't need to explain to the world that, oh, he lied. If the world is the world around you, your world is wise enough, smart enough, worthy of your friendship, they know you, they will figure out, or they'll ask you, and you'll explain. If they don't, why do you think or assume that they know and they agree with it or they have believed it? And if they have, they're assholes. You can't go around fix up the world. You don't have that kind of time. That's why we have selections. We see if some place is not inviting to us or the environment is not balanced, we move on. You know, it's like you pass by somewhere and there's a factory or something and there's a smell of garbage or manure is blowing from that whatever ventilation or for that area. So what do? You hang around and say, why does it smell like shit? Fix that. Well, which one is easier? Fixing that whole factory or that whole environment with all this shit that is there causing the smell, or you just moving on, passing by to fresh air area? That's faster. That's better. You don't have to even, you know, have anybody do anything. You take care of your own problem by exercising your choice. Move on. But you want to fix the world. You know, my father was a very educated man. He had a PhD in law and he spoke 6 languages. He had read many books and he was a real strong understanding of politics of the world and so on. So I learned a lot from him. One day I was visiting home from school. I went to school in Portland. So I was back in Iran and I was driving. My dad was on the passenger side, and I was driving. And I was in the main highway, main road, bigger road. I had the right of way. And as I was going, approaching toward home, coming back from some appointment, some business that I was the chauffeur for my dad. And I was very young. I don't know, I think I was 20. And as I was driving, there was this other car from a branch street, a minor street, small alley, had stuck his head out and up, closed my way. But it was my way. It was a big road and I had to go. And he had kind of infringed in that road, blocked my road. And I stopped and looking at him. And my dad turned around and told me, what do you want to do? Fix up the world? You can't be responsible for people's action or try to fix everyone who's in the wrong. Often you just need to turn the steering and go. You don't have to teach him a lesson. It is obviously, if he could make the right selection, he would not be infringing and being where he is. Obviously, you need to take care of what it is that you should be doing rather than expecting him to correct himself, or his behavior. It's very easy. He could have stopped at the line, but he didn't. Now you're expecting him to teach him a lesson and go back. Just move on. Don't have to teach the world. The same thing here. Thanks, Dad. Same thing here. You're expecting some psychopath to behave according to normalcy, a normal way of being. Chivalry, being good, righteous, and all. You can't expect, I don't know, a pumpkin to turn into, I don't know, a house or turn into some kind of a different fruit or vegetable. It's a pumpkin. Not that pumpkins are bad. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Seinfeld, huh? So, where are we here? So he lied. He's a liar. You don't have to fix him up. You just ignore him, move on. The world is not summed up in the conclusion that he has introduced about you to some few people. It's irrelevant. Doesn't do anything to you. It's irrelevant. You condense the whole world to his group or his few people that have heard him to say what he says or what he says. You've condensed the world to what he says. That's not the world. That's what you think. What he has said, the whole world knows it. First of all, it's nonsense. Secondly, who cares? People don't even recognize him or who it is. Maybe in that circle. And that circle, the stupid ones may believe. The ones who are real friends and know you and are interested to know you will ask about it from you and you'll explain. Otherwise, don't have to be thinking, oh, he said that to me. I gotta teach him a lesson. Oh, forget it. If he was any good, he wouldn't be doing these things. So, and you wouldn't be, call him X. And this is, I was blinded by love back then, which is like, how can you lie to, okay, I was blinded by love back then, but how do I stop anger towards him for lying to me, and also how do I stop anger at myself for believing? I know I should be glad I did not marry him, but I still, you see, JP, I don't know what the actual scenario is, so I'm kind of in the dark. If you like, you can go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, make a 1-hour appointment for Skype consultation, and I will add another hour to it on me, so we'll have 2 hours to explore the nitty-gritties and everything that you have concerns, and we'll discuss it, explore it together. Says, feel hurt, betrayed for someone I loved so much. Yeah. Well, you don't have to love him. You think you have to love him because you loved him. And because you loved him, that means if you don't love him, that means you're kind of disrespecting your choice. Why don't you admit that your choice was wrong and you couldn't have known any better because it was in disguise? But the good thing is you found out early enough. They didn't have to fall into that trap. That's what you should be focusing on rather than why did I make? We all make mistakes. We all get fooled. We all get, dazzled by this and that, so forth, depending on what the situation is. But that's not on you. The fact that if you had gone through with it, it would be on you because you had enough opportunities to find out. Now you have. And instead of celebrating this find, you're thinking, why the thing that is actually rotten, I thought of it not rotten. I shouldn't have thought of it not rotten. I should have seen it. Well, you didn't. And it wasn't that you unpurposely saw it's rotten, that fruit or whatever you bought, but you took it as, no, it's not rotten. No, you thought actually it's fresh. And now that you know, then you take action. You don't blame yourself. You didn't purposely fool yourself. You were fooled. It's not on you, really. You need a time to figure out, because you can't judge a person by just certain behaviors here and there. The consciousness needs to be understood, and it takes time for you, through interactions and negotiation of day-to-day life, through time, understand each other's consciousness. Then you know if that person is someone to love, and you can or cannot love by knowing the consciousness. Otherwise, how can you think that this is love? This is attraction. When you see someone briefly and interact and you're interested in that person, but then by knowing each other's consciousness, that takes time, then you will know if that can turn into love. So now that you know that consciousness, you know that it was never love because you didn't have enough information. Now that you do, you got to see him for the actuality that he is. Then you wouldn't be looking at him, still thinking of him as how you thought of him before you know what a psychotic ass he is. So look at him for his actuality, who he is, how he is now, not perceiving him as how you used to think he was then and not believing, how could he be? Well, he is this, always been this. You just brought that image that he created of him in your mind about him, and you have you put the, superimposed it, exposed it on him, whatever the word is, on him. So you're not really seeing him, you're seeing an image you created of him when you look at him. Put those images out, focus on him, who he is, how he treats you, what he did, and so on, and then you can see that he's not lovable. You can't love him, and you're happy that you found this out, rather than still thinking, oh, how could that person be him? No, it wasn't that person. You thought he's like that, but this is his reality. So focus on that. Feel hurt and betrayed from someone, loved someone. You shouldn't have. Well, that's on you. You should have not really be constantly. You should have updated his behavior and his consciousness all the time, instead of constantly remembering when you first met him and you loved him for whatever reason, and constantly carrying that image on him regardless of his behavior and changes that he was making through time of getting to know him. Yeah, you kept on bringing this picture and not allowing yourself to see his real, expose him as who he is, but you had this picture, these characteristics that you had created, this image that you had created of him in your mind between you and him. So we're always seeing him in that light. You were perceiving him rather than actually seeing him. So now suddenly that you can't deny it anymore, you can't avoid seeing the actuality of him, you're surprised. Well, all along he was this. You just didn't choose. You had a little picture over him that wasn't letting you see who he really was. All right, let's go on, because otherwise we'll be here for the rest of the, because it's an interesting subject. Anyhow, you can go on my site and make an appointment. By all means, we'll explore it together.
Mark says, hi everyone, male 37 UK. Hello, Mark. And Mark says, been single a year this month. Everything is going well, fitter financially, stable, better relationship with my son and family. Thanks for your help during last year. It gets easier. Good for you, Mark. I'm proud of you. Keep it going. Create a new mechanical processes through which you create new order. Through new order, your mind will find security, and your mechanical processes will give you that quality of life. No longer you would be going into your memory to find security through the memory of the order that exists in the relationship that you used to be with, and your order will be changed according to the new mechanical processes, so your mind finds security in the actuality of life as you have designed it, as you're interacting with it, and no longer needs to go into the memory to find the old order to feel secure. And you've been doing that, and that's great. That's why you feel better. Major Paper says, I'm around 25 France. Mail, oh, bonjour, monsieur. Comment ça va aujourd'hui? Oh, maybe bonsoir. It's probably nighttime over there. Says, I'm willing to move on. T says, I'm willing to move on from all of this nonsense. The thoughts, however, I had one wet dream regarding the same sex, and I don't know why, because I didn't like it or want it. I think about it every day. Don't. You're sleeping, for heaven's sake. You're not in control. Your brain, it's a dream. It's a fucking dream. And if you're in a dream and you kill someone, you're going to think that you're a murderer. If you get killed, you think you're dead. It's a dream. You got nothing to do with it. You got nothing to do with the intrusive thought while you're awake, let alone when you're sleeping. Now you're trying to get on your own case. Be kind to yourself. Don't be like that. What about the people who piss in their sleep? What? It's a disorder. They're not in control. If they were in control, they would not piss. But you want to hold yourself responsible for something that you were in deep coma, in sleep. It's not fair. Stop this, guys. Stop it. Stop bashing yourself with everything that oh, I farted. Oh my goodness, why should I fart? I should have known better. Well, listen, bodily function is not that you chose it. It happens, okay. But the brain is not explaining, in the sleep, you are actually coming because of the same gender. You have no idea. It's just the sexual connotation, relevance, and the dream, and you are reacting to what the dream scenario is. In the dream, you're not who you are. You're not this to be responsible for what the dream does. In the dream, people have no control. They're not who they are. They could be some mare. They could be a horse. Haven't you ever dreamed that, you're flying? Haven't you ever dreamed that maybe, you're a horse with a man's head? I don't know. All kind of things. You can't be responsible because it's not your choice. You're not even conscious. It's accumulation of all these stuff that in existence, that an idea or actuality in the world, and the brain has that in the consciousness. So somehow it selects it and makes a thought, makes a scenario, makes a moving picture out of it. What does it have to do with you? So stop that. Stop interpreting anything to anything. The character is behaving as a scenario in the dream. You're not that person. You're the character that the dream has created. So what does it have to do with you? And the character behaves and reacts in the same way to the point that he's not even in control of his bodily function. It's like someone dreams that he's peeing, so he's going to pee. Well, he wasn't necessarily interested in peeing. But in the dream, he's not in control. Whatever the scenario, the role the dream gives him. Okay, then he's that case. It's like a theater, and he's in that role, and so he acts as the role supposed to act in that scenario, in that theater. It's a dream. You're not in control. All right, May, London, 21. Marx has been studying law of attraction, cryptocurrencies, doing hobbies, and working. Life goes on. Yes, good. And a major paper says I recovered from HOCD, but everything I see sometimes disgusting that anxiety level go up and that shit starts again. How to avoid it? Don't avoid it. Understand that it means nothing. What are you avoiding? Thoughts. You can't stop thoughts. It's like stopping heartbeat. These thoughts comes, but you have the power of selection and veto. You see if the thought is useful for something, I don't know, designing a product, whatnot, use it. If the thought is nonsense, it's not in line with your values, well, fuck it. That's the end of it. You don't have to know, oh, but it showed up. It must mean something. It doesn't mean shit. All right. Again, mindthatseekstruth.com. You can go on there, make an appointment with me, and we'll discuss all these in detail. Because every one of these questions is like 3-hour talk. So I can be short about it, but you can make an appointment and then we'll chat about it in detail. And again, every new client makes 1-hour appointment. I'll add another appointment, another meeting, another hour to it in that same meeting, not a different appointment. And then we'll have plenty of time to explore what's concerning you on Skype, one-on-one. T says, I just wanted to be straight and that's it. Well, you are straight. I'm so tired of all these thoughts and ruminations. Why does this happen since I'm actually straight? Well, I've explained it in the videos. Please watch those videos and you'll understand the relationship between the striatum center, the goal finding center, reward center, and the habit center. And you understand OCD and the relationship of the neuroscience of habit, and you understand the section that's called caudate nucleus, which is part of the basal ganglia, and then the relationship with the prefrontal cortex, and you understand the malfunction of the signaling system, and then elaboration with in the videos, and also links of all these famous psychotherapists and psychologists and neuroscientists, and it will help you to know what you're up against, and you understand that this is what it is. It's not any kind of a modification to your gender. Beetlejuice says, is it possible for heterosexuals to get these thoughts to really be attracted to same sex? That's what HOCD is. It makes you, or suggests to you, makes you think that you would like that. You know, I have a video called something like kissing another male or another same gender, something like that. I don't know. Look at those playlists and you will see some of the videos that you might want to see. Watch. He says, I can admit a guy is good looking, but I don't know why my mind can't just have it at that. I just can't, because that's what negative brain function is. The brain, look, some of us have a very overactive, inventive brain. Its ability to find all kinds of suggestions in a given topic, which these sort of people, first of all, people with OCD and these kind of things, they're above average intelligence. And they're mostly are very creative, and many of them are inventors. Intrusive thoughts, ability to all these tangents that it takes you, as stupid and as disgusting as it could be to you, depending on whatever it is disgusting to you. Each person is differently. The brain of these people has got so much capability of creating all kind of tangents and seeing things that other people cannot even imagine, and they usually are of very creative nature and inventors. People who have these kind of intrusive thoughts and OCD, and look at the history. Look at most famous inventor in the world, most important, Nikola Tesla. He had horrendous OCD, and imagination was wild. He could see all kinds of things, and there were many of them intrusive thoughts. It comes with the territory. It's a curse, but at the same time, it gives you so much capabilities that your brain can conjure up things that nobody else can. But that's what it does. It means nothing as your orientation is concerned. It means nothing as far as your gender is concerned. It's just overactive and can see all kind of shit. So what you need to do is just leave it be and don't pay attention. Don't be focused on it. So it will learn that, hey, simmer down. Nobody's interested in all these tangents. But many of us go through that. So what you need to do is to focus on the present moment. Bring your thoughts always to what you're doing. Mindful exercises, meditation, brings your mind to the actuality, to the now, to the moment. And in the moment, there is nothing. And sometimes when you want to bring yourself back into the moment, just do a double breathe. During this exercise of double breathe, which is using the parafacial nuclei system of breathing, not the normal one. Normal breathing is just normal breathing. That's a different system. Yeah? That's pre-Butzinger complex. And that's a normal breathing. But when you feel anxiety or feel intrusive thoughts, you can do it. When you're doing it, it cuts through the negative thoughts and intrusive thought. The stream of things are going to be interrupted, and you're fully focused on what is happening. It brings you to the moment and interrupts that whole streak of overactiveness and brings you a little bit of tranquility, gets rid of the anxiety. Because most of these the thoughts and intrusive thoughts have connection with anxiety. So when you do this exercise, bring the anxiety down, and then the relaxation appears. It's like a mindful exercises or meditation clears the mind. When I was in university, we had this meditation, special yearly meditation called Bell Misugi, which was bells were ringing and you would repeat a certain sentence in Japanese, which didn't matter what it meant. It just put our focus on one thing, which we didn't even know what it meant. But we were going with the rhythm, 30, 40 people with the bells and bells ringing, and you're expressing that. And eyes are closed and you're sitting for an hour. You do that. After an hour, your whole focus was on that. And it creates neuroplasticity and rewires the brain, and the brain stops working overactive. It's got nothing in it after 1 hour. It's just empty. You can't even think if you wanted to of anything, because you've created the status for the brain to feel wonderful and great and relaxed, and doesn't want to come out of it. So you quit, relax, and none of those intrusive thoughts. And these are part of exercises that one can adopt through meditation, mindful exercises, or even this double breathing whenever you need it, to bring yourself into the moment and get your thoughts out of the brain. And get the brain to stop functioning the way it was doing by focusing on something that has got no weight on it, and there's no processing. So through that meditation or Bell Misugi, you're saying something which needs no processing. So the brain gets out of the processing mode and enters into simple thing, doing nothing, but focus on that simple thing which has got no importance to it. But the importance of it is keeps the brain from focusing on anything else, nonsense or otherwise. So after a while, the brain is like emptied, cleaned out. And that's why a total homeostasis. After that particular meditation, everybody is just in harmony with nature, with universe. Like there is no you, there is no nature. It's only one thing, energy. And it's total bliss, total unity between you and the energy creator. There's one. You and universe become one. So thought, nothing matters. You become so powerful that no intrusive thought, whatever else that is bothering you at that moment, could matter. And the effect of it stays for a long time. If the world was normal and we had enough finances, I could travel and put these workshops and help people in different ways than just how we're doing here. But anyhow, that's for a different time, a different story. Let's go for seeing what else we have here. MWM Gaming says, missing your weapon. That stick, you're old. Well, that stick is this. It doesn't have your name on it. You've been a good boy, I guess. The ugly stick. You're talking about the famous ugly stick. Yes, the ugly stick, I may have to use it once in a while for people who have been really not good to themselves and have been torturing themselves and believing the bullshit that the brain conjures up every day. NYEFX1 says, what should we do about unwanted groinal response or erection during HOCD? Well, listen, this is my answer to you on that because it's pretty elaborate. I guess I gotta repeat everything. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna do this and give you the video that you are asking for to see. This video is a very good informative video. It helps you to understand your question. It's elaborate discussion, and then I can't go into it here because I'll take another half an hour to talk about it. But watch that one. I just put it up for you. It's called groinal response. Slobodan says, and images, yeah, all kind of images could be there. Doesn't matter. It's no different than any other image that it's unwanted. So it could be this or that or anything else. Doesn't matter. It's all images that you treat as intrusive thoughts. So you don't take them seriously. Just let them be. Don't fight with it. Oh, I gotta destroy it. I gotta destroy that thought. I gotta stop it. I gotta do it. Don't have to do any of that shit. They're thoughts. They've got no existence, no power. You are all the power that there is, not the brain, not the thought. It can make your body react to it, but it's got no power to turn anything into actuality. Only you can do that, and that's your vetoes and selection power, which is the ultimate power. So deal with your brain as it is a subordinate to you, not as a leader or someone that you take your cues from. It may make your body react to something, but that's a connection that the body and mind have, body and brain have. It's got nothing to do with any modification in you, and you're not supposed to be buying into that shit. It's brain's thoughts, not yours. It's brain suggestion, not yours. Colin says, I thought about a beautiful blonde woman this morning and imagined having a girlfriend, and that made me happy. Great. Enjoy. Guys, understand your brain is malfunctioning. That's all. The rest of it, don't believe the malfunctioning brain. Understand that it's malfunction. It's like you have a friend and he happens to be crazy and he's recognized and diagnosed as crazy, and then you say, but it's my friend saying, it's crazy. It doesn't matter if it's your friend. It's crazy. So you got to focus on the fact that the quality of those ideas, whatever that friend of yours says or utters, is crazy. It's coming from a crazy person. You can't say, well, I pay attention to what it says, even though it's crazy, but it says, well, it's crazy. That label should stop it. So understand, your brain is crazy. When it malfunctions, it's broken, it's gone rogue. So you got to rewire it, retrain it. You know, you got to teach it again. I'm not interested in this shit. I'm not paying attention to it. I'm not going to debate it with you. You can say whatever. You can bring any image you want. I don't give a fuck. They're bullshit. That's what your opinion is, and you go on. You don't interact with the brain, with the thought. You don't fight it. You don't say, "Oh, refuse it. Oh, I gotta show who's the boss is." That's not me. How dare you think about me this? It's a fucking brain. It doesn't have any brain. Brain is the most stupid part of you. Don't understand it. Brain is not intellect. It's an apparatus. It's a machine. It does what it does, like any other part of you. Intestine, it sheds. And brain also sheds, but it's a form of thoughts. Negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts. That's what it does. You're not supposed to fall for it. You understand it's the brain's thought and it's malfunctioning. You got to retrain it. You got to reteach it. Through your behavior toward these suggestions, images, and thoughts, it will learn that you're not interested in these things. These are not in line with your values, and it learns to limit them lesser and lesser, eventually stops. And if it ever shows up again, you know what it is. So you're not surprised with it, and you allow the crazy be crazy, but you don't go crazy because you're carrying something crazy with you. You just recognize it's crazy and you ignore it. Discredit it. You discredit and ignore it. Okay. Sorry with that. So where are we, guys? T, for those questions, elaborate questions, I mean, it's very simple, but you go make an appointment on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and then we can explore it. Otherwise, these are questions that takes a bit of a back and forth, and I don't want to just say it and pass on, because I'm sure you're going to have follow-up questions. You see, the problem with all you guys is that you're looking for certainty and you want to come up with assurances. There's no need for assurances or certainty. Thoughts show up. I don't give a fuck. That's a brain's thought. My actions define me, not thoughts. It's like saying to some girlfriend that you have, "Oh, I love you, you're everything to me," or you don't give a shit about her and you don't, treat her nice, you don't spend time with her, you don't take her anywhere, you don't have any plans to build anything together, you don't go on sporting or hiking or any venture or any activities at all. But you say, I love you. What does that mean? The action is going to define you, not what you say or what you think or intention. The action, yeah? So all these things doesn't define you. There are thoughts, suggestions, images, a malfunction of the brain, whatever it is no different than somebody else calling you an asshole. That doesn't make you an asshole. It's somebody says, and that somebody's outside. It's their opinion. The brain has got no intellect. It just conjures up thoughts. Think of them as the opinion of some other people. What value does that have? Nothing, shit. It doesn't define you. Your actions defines you. If you're an asshole and you act as an asshole, then you can be considered by yourself as an asshole. If you understand the difference anyhow. But you can't just think, oh, I'm an asshole. But because I thought of it, then I must be. No. Because somebody called me an asshole, there must be an asshole. It annoys you, but doesn't make you an asshole because you're not. Your action defines you. So these thoughts come into your mind, head. Many people have different intrusive thoughts. Some people think they're pedophiles, but they will never act on it. In fact, they're very trustworthy and decent people, but these are intrusive thoughts. It's not their action, it's a thought, and thought is not action. So the difference is very simple. These are all thoughts, suggestions, images. They don't define you. That's it. Simple. That's your answer, T. Now, if you fall for your brain and think that your brain is you, and you actually allow the suggestion to become an action, then you got fooled, and you're actually getting fucked by your own brain, and you're supposed to be smarter than that. So separation between brain, you, and thoughts sets you free and brings that balance and that control that you expect to have in life back to you, because you are the ultimate power that can give life to a thought or let it die where it popped up. That's your power, and only your power, not the brain's power. Because brain is not you, you're not the brain. You're above and beyond the brain. The brain cannot reach you. So don't be fooled by the brain. Your actions define you, and that has all the powers in your hand through your vetoes and choices. That's where your freedom and power is. All right. T, your questions are obviously, you can see the obvious answer into it. With my explanation, you probably can now answer yourself that. And JP says, thank you, sir. No wonder you're so smart, because you had a smart father. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Says, I will keep that analogy, move away from toxic environment instead of trying to fix it. Yes, correct. Good for you, JP. More power to you. And Jitender Kumar says, sir, I'm totally depressed last 2 months. Well, join the world. We're all human beings, and sometimes we get depressed. But you got to focus on little things in life to bring yourself out of depression. One of the things that you can do and you should be doing is to create a window to get out of the rot that you have fallen into. In other words, I think it's Professor Feldman, if I'm not mistaken, Jack Feldman. I hope I didn't butcher his last name. Said that it's like if you're depression is like if you're walking on a ground in a circle, and keep walking on a dirt ground, and you're creating a rut. You're creating an impression by your steps, and the more you do it, the deeper it gets, and the deeper it gets, the harder it is to get out of that ditch, that rut, to get on the main road. And sometimes then it's a necessary thing to give a little bit of a jolt to get you out of that rut. And that jolt often can be done by using the breathing technique that I described to you, is from the breathing system of parafacial nuclei. It's actually is explained in Dr. Huberman's, as a neuroscientist, that he explains when you have a double breath. It's a bit different than the Wim Hof system of breathing, which that is a different way of bringing, realigning the neurons, and neurology is resetting the neurology. And this one is that you breathe 2 times, 2 big ones. This acts like that jolt that the psychologist would have to give someone who's in deep depression a little bit of shock to get them out. But this double breath, it kind of gives you that clarity and calmness, and gives you that little bit of a shock out of your depression mode, gives you a window of normality and balance. So through that window, as you feel good, you end up choosing to do some simple positive things. You know, maybe you don't feel like getting up and do the dishes, but in that moment you get up and you start doing the dishes, and then the propeller's going and the energy changes because you're doing something positive and you feel fine about, you feel good, and you accomplish something, the dopamine hits you and you feel better again. So you create this perpetual feeling good by that window that was created by that breathing, which was like a jolting you out of that depression, getting you out, giving you a window of everything is possible, and you choose something simple to do, and then you move on that and expand on that. So do that for yourself and give yourself this window to get you opportunity to not to be depressed in that moment, to give you a chance to make a quick decision to do something simple and positive, and then roll on that energy that is created for accomplishment, and they get dopamine coming and they feel good. Neurotransmitters are secreted, and then you give yourself a chance to create a new habit that is possible. I can do these things, and then to rewire your brain that I don't have to be depressed. It can't get me down because I can kick myself out of it with these little techniques. And also talk to your psychologist, psychotherapist, and get their direction, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but at the same time, you can use the information and then consult with your psychotherapist and psychologist and get back on main road. All right. And Jennifer Kumar says, Jitender, says, sir, I want to ask why I'm still stuck on her. I know it is difficult to get back. Still, I'm in dilemma, what to do, how to move on. 26 male from India. You have to understand that at age 26, and you have made her to be your whole future in life, and because you haven't really accomplished much in life, and she seemed to be your biggest accomplishment, and you made yourself believe that that is my salvation, that's a solution to my shortcomings in life. You made her to be a solution to your life, when it's not. She's just a human being, just like you, gets up in the morning, gotta go to the bathroom, wash up her face, have tea or coffee, and go on work or study or whatever it is that she does. But you made her to be a solution to your problems, to your shortcomings, to your fears, to your anxieties. And through that, you would feel good. Rather than feeling good because of your accomplishments and your plans in life, you started feeling good thinking that she's the one, the source of your feeling good. So you made her to be a solution to your problems in life. And now that it's not working out, you think the solution to your problems in life has gone away. So it's all problem now. She was never a solution. You had given her that image that nobody is worthy of having. So simply recognize that the solution is right there. If you look in the mirror, you're looking at it. You're the solution. You're the one who can make anything happen in this life. Not a pleasure or desire for something. That something is your interest toward that something. It is you giving it value. It doesn't have a value on its own. It is again you. You're the source of the value of what you really want and desire. Because you desire it, you value it. It doesn't have a value on its own. If you don't desire it, it doesn't have a value. You gave all these values to her because you desired her. The value doesn't come from her. It's not because she's created some amazing thing in this world and makes human life better or does some amazing things in life. She doesn't have that value. You gave that value because you desired it. You want it through, finding pleasure through her company and all that. You created that value in her. And now you think that she has the value on her own. No, you're the source of the value. And you're the source of solution to your life. You're the one who can make things happen in life and not let anything happen by sitting there and I'm depressed because she's gone. So big fucking deal. She was the last girl on earth. You made her to feel like as it is. Because you're sitting on your ass, you're not accomplishing yourself to have the feeling of to feel the confidence that you should have, and go and meet new friends, new girlfriends, and qualify them. The first priority for accepting a girl is that she wants to be with you, that she is also reciprocating. You don't want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you, and if she doesn't want to be with you, why do you want to be with her? Why do you want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you? That's just stupid. You're the solution to your problems, not her. You're the instigator of all success you want to have in life, not her. Not desire for pleasure or anything else. You're the source of it all. Understand that. Get off your ass and make a life. Command your life. All right. Let's go on to Nova. And Naye FX says, thank you, sir, and good night. Good night. And Nova says, hi, Miran. Hello, Nova. Corey Puderbau. I hope I didn't butcher the name. It says, how do you get over the sexual memories with an ex? You don't have to. Especially when it was your first love and you both did kinky things. Well, so you did. Why do you have to forget it? Enjoy it once in a while when the harvest is slow. And Jitendra Kumar says, yeah, sir, you're right. Okay, go to it. Borsu says, can you please advise how to calm the anxiety of 30-plus woman on having children? Her biological clock seems to put pressure on myself. Don't want to rush myself. First of all, tell me, which one are you? Are you man, woman? What your gender is, what your age, and where you're tuning in from? Please, give me that. Throw me the bone. Give me the info. Dr. Evil here. You are. Have you guys seen Us in Power? I hope he'll make another one. Slobodna says, haha, before HOCD, I could get a rose only by... yeah. Beetlejuice says, I absolutely don't want to be gay, and deep down I know I'm straight. Once I get reassured, I'm relieved for a certain amount of time, but I end up thinking about these thoughts again eventually. Because these thoughts are continuous, you don't need to have assurance continuous. Just leave the assurance away, because you're dealing with these thoughts and you're thinking these thoughts are actuality. And that's why you keep wanting to have assurance. When you recognize these thoughts are just thoughts, let them be. Don't need assurance. Fuck it. What's certain in this world that you now want? Oh, I want this certainty and I want to protect this certainty. I don't want anything else to come to my brain. No, you can let anything come to your brain. None of them mean anything. It's irrelevant to you. Thoughts doesn't mean and define you. Actions do. Huh? So, I don't care. Anything comes to your mind can come. You can have intrusive thoughts of pedophilia. That's terrible, yeah, but it's a thought. You'll never act on it. You're a decent, wonderful person. And many other OCDs and subsets of OCDs. Just treat them all the same, all bullshit. Don't fall into it. Some of them make your body react because brain is so powerful, but still doesn't have anything to do with you. It's irrelevant to you. Yeah? I understand that. Separate yourself from the brain and you'll be fine. Expect these malfunctions. That's part of being a human and having a human brain. That's what it is. Human brain is all fucked up. All right. Column says, me, I'm doing fine. This channel has helped me. I'm heterosexual and I've always liked women. Yeah. And JP, okay, so let's say, okay. All right. All right. Okay, we saw all that. MWM Gaming says, you saved me 2 years ago. Thanks. By your stick. By the ugly stick. So thanks again. You're doing great work. You're earning lots of blessings. Whenever I got mental problems, I remember your name. Thank you very much. So, in other words, crazy Mehran, synonymous, right? Crazy, you're a mental problem, crazy. Remember my name, Mehran. Thank you very much for that. Listen, guys, be good to yourself and promote the goddamn channel. All these blessings are fine, thank you very much, but promote the channel. I want viewers and I want people to know about this channel and more subscribers. We hardly have, look at us, 16 people here. God damn it. Do something during the week. Promote this channel. Anyhow. All right. MWM Gaming says, I'm Tarun, India, 19 male. Thank you for that. And so, John Ruvolis says, excellent information about the breathing technique to get the dopamine flowing. I'm experimenting with fasting to produce similar healthy effects, having excellent result. Good. Yeah. Slobodan, yeah. Yeah, let it do what it does. Don't be worried about it. Slobodan. Borsu says, man 35, my GF is 32 and is already thinking about having kids after 2 years of relationship. Aha. All right, now makes sense. And then says, can you please advise how to calm the anxiety of a 30-year-old woman, or 32, 30 plus, on having children? Her biological clock seems to put pressure on myself. Don't want to rush myself. Well, you got another at least good 2-3 more years before anything. But if you're not serious with her, let her know. Because if she's coming from a culture that is very important for her to have children, then you might want to take it seriously. Where do you want to go? And you're a 35-year-old, you know? What the fuck are you waiting for? What? At 35, you should know. You want to have children or you don't. If you don't, let her go. Let her know. And she will make the decision. Or maybe you say, I'll know in about a year or 2 years. Otherwise, you're always, nobody is necessarily, you know,
thinking about all what could be involved in having a child. It's something that you decide to have. It was easier to make a decision to have children in the past. It was a better world, more normal, more balanced. Now everything is also fucked up and crazy. So you may want to decide together, and if you come to a conclusion that you want to have a baby, then go for it. Do you think you will be different in when you're 40? What are you waiting for? You may say, oh, I don't have enough money. Well, maybe if you have lots of money at age 40 and you say, okay, let's have children, and then you will have it, then you lose all the money. What are you going to do? Well, that shouldn't have that big of a bearing. Maybe child would be motivation to make more money. I don't know. It's decision between you guys. But what I'm saying is, if you think she's got that sensitivity about the age and having children, then figure out yourself that do you want to have a children or not? Or is it the woman that you don't want to have a children? If it was somebody else, you would. If you had just met her and you were in love with her, or at the beginning of the relationship, you would maybe agree to have children because you really wanted her. But now that you've been with her maybe for a while, you kind of think, well, but some other woman might come along that you have not been with, and you become excited and you're willing to have children with her because your whole, emotion and hormones and also, you want that, intimacy, and for that you're willing to pay the price of having children. But that's not a real good decision because you're acting on the novelty of that sexual experience with her. But this one, with anybody else, after a while, it'll be the same as it is with this one. So make your decision with this girlfriend of yours, because anyone else you choose, after a while, you'll be in the same place and position and feeling as you are right now with this girlfriend. So novelty doesn't make something is right or wrong. Maybe right, maybe wrong. So make the decision with her, and if you're not interested, let her go. But if she's willing to hang around to see what happens, that's her choice. But you shouldn't be rushed, and she shouldn't be held back either. Lily or Likimi, what is it? Lil Kimi says, hello from Toronto, Canada. Oh my goodness, we have a Canadian, eh? And gender, age, and would be helpful, Lil Kimi. Nova says, why do the thoughts make me so uncomfortable even though they should have no meanings? Well, because the body reacts to thoughts, and the thoughts are contrary to your preference. So obviously it makes you uncomfortable. Simple as that. And but Beetlejuice says, sometimes I get thoughts that I forgot English and I forgot everything I know, but deep down I know it's not true. Well, then it's it's really fucked up, isn't it? So focus on what you know rather than these illusions. Borsu says, thank you, you're quite welcome. Okay, guys, it looks like we have answered all the questions here. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's time for me to say I love you all. Tonight at 9 p.m. we'll have another live stream, hopefully. And if I see you guys tonight, or we're in the same live chat tonight, great. If not, well, then next week maybe. We have live talks on Saturdays, 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. usually Vancouver time. And wherever you are in the world, check your time difference with us, and 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays, Vancouver time, we'll try to have our live talks going every week. Let's see if I have any other questions here again, which I don't. Yeah. Okay, so it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here and giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to talk to you again, perhaps tonight, if not next week, Saturday. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.